Yep, you heard that right. And you saw it right. I'm trying to pick this guitar up and it got hung up on this crappy stand here. I've got a better stand for playing live, by the way. I think it's one of those Gorilla stands or something like that. Anyway, that wasn't supposed to be part of the video. Maybe I'll cut this out. Cut it out. All right, so yeah, you just heard it. That was metal with a Tele, the Fender Telecaster here. Now, this is not my guitar. You guys have seen this in prior videos. Did a couple of videos with this guitar, I think earlier this year, and I'll tell you a little bit more about that after we go through these 5 reasons why I like playing this Tele for metal, or just a Tele in general. So anyway, let's go through these. So these aren't rules. These aren't, they're not based on any facts. It's just my personal experience. And that's one thing I want to say before we get into this. Guys, you know, somebody can say, well, this is the best guitar for metal, or you should play that, or you should try these pickups, blah, blah, blah. At the end of the day, it's all about what you prefer. So I want you to try to remove any like biases or cognitive biases that you might have when it comes to picking something out, you know, that might suit you well, even though it doesn't seem like it. Because, I mean, let's just be honest, this does not look like a metal guitar. This looks like a metal guitar, right? This is my ESP E2 Horizon FR7. That looks metal, man, okay? Yeah, looks like a country guitar, right? Southern rock, maybe? So anyway, let's get into, and I think I've got 5 of these, I don't want to say reasons, but just kind of 5 things that I've been thinking about since I've been playing this Telecaster here. All right, one is clarity. This is something I've noticed in playing this guitar and other Telecasters that I've played as well. These guitars have an immense amount of clarity. Here's the thing, when you're playing with guitars that are built for metal per se, okay, when you're playing with those guitars with active pickups, or even if they're passive pickups, they're made for metal, they're hot. Not like hot, don't touch the stove, but you guys know what I'm talking about. As opposed to what this Telecaster has, and I know some Teles have humbucker pickups, I realize that, but you know, a lot of Teles, I say the majority of them, just have single coil pickups. Now these are the Sunday, they're like special wound or whatever, so they are kind of hot rodded, but they're not really like metal, not like built for metal, okay? So you might be thinking, well, you know, the active pickups or the passive pickups made for metal will naturally sound better. Well, the thing about clarity, okay, when you have hot pickups and you're playing with a high gain amp, sometimes that might have a tendency to sound muddy. Of course, you can dial that in appropriately with your gain and EQ and so forth, but it's easy for those pickups to kind of get away from you sometimes, if you know what I'm talking about, especially when you're playing riffs and you need everything to be tight. Now, of course, I'm not saying that those metal guitars with metal pickups, I'm not saying they're not tight. They indeed are. What I'm saying is, though, you do have to be careful dialing it in sometimes, depending on the volume of the amp, especially if you're playing with a real amp. If you're playing with amp sims, it's easy, you just, you know, whatever. I'm talking about playing with a real live tube amp, okay, or even a solid state amp for that matter. If you're on stage, sometimes hot pickups with a lot of gain, you just have to be careful. With the Tele, I noticed just a ton of clarity, whether I had the gain on the amp backed off or cranked, which the little clip you just heard, I had it kind of cranked up. So you just get a lot of clarity, in my opinion. Again, all this stuff's just my opinion, guys, so don't take it as gospel. The Gospel of Jason. Hey, that'd be a cool book. Another thing I've noticed about these guitars, and I can't really speak from personal experience on this one, but I'm just speaking from the experience of the masses of guitar players that play a Telecaster. Man, these things seem to be just rugged workhorses. I mean, there's a reason why you see a lot of folks playing these guitars on stage, and especially gigging musicians. Another thing I like about the Tele is overall, it's just a simple man's guitar. And I'm kind of like Leonard Skinner. I've said this before, I'm a simple man. But there is a factor of simplicity with a Telecaster. I mean, I know you've got the same amount of knobs and you've got the pickup switch, but I don't know, and maybe you guys understand what I'm talking about, or maybe I'm just not making any sense at all. It could be the case. Certainly I don't have a bias towards the Tele because, again, I don't even own one. I'm just considering getting one, and I just kind of wanted to share the metal tones that I just cranked out, which I'm going to play some more for you. But yeah, I think it sounded good. But anyway, so there's just a simplicity to this, man. I don't know if I can explain that. I do like the fact that we don't have a Floyd or floating tremolo here. Sometimes that's a good thing not to have on stage when you're playing out. And I've been getting more gigs booked lately. I'm doing this in December 2021. I've already got like 5 gigs booked for January of 2022 and probably more coming. And I've got 3 next week, the week of Christmas. Having something that's a workhorse like we just talked about, and then having the simplicity of a guitar like this, hopefully that makes sense. Yeah, that's kind of a factor. That's something that I've noticed as well. Another thing that I really love about this particular Tele, and maybe that's because Bryan has the action super low on here, and we've got 9s. I think these are the 9s, 9 through 42 strings here. Which I'm supposed to restring it for him. I got his Ernie Ball Slinkies right here. Actually, I was supposed to restring it on a live that I did last week, or this past week, and I got around chatting with you guys on the live, and I never got around to actually changing the string. So, Bryan, if you see this, dude, these will be on here before I give you your guitar back. The playability of this thing, for me, the Tele fits my hands just perfectly, and I'm speaking for other Teles that I've played as well, but it just fits my hands perfectly. The neck here, I mean, it's not like a super fast neck like my ESP and LTD guitars, but it's still very smooth to play. It frets easy and all that. And here, I'll just play a quick little lead on it for you. So yeah, very, very easy to play. So that's another thing I like about it. The final thing that I really like about this guitar and Teles in general for metal is that you're going to get a different tone than what you're used to hearing. I want to say everybody else, but a lot of metal guitarists have. You're just going to get a different sound out of that. I mean, Teles, they have their own distinct sound and tone, and that's why people buy them. It's like my 5th cup of coffee today. I'm on a special nutrition plan right now, trying to lean out. So for some reason, I'm just craving coffee all the time. Just a side note, I might do a video on that later. Anyway, so the big thing about a Telecaster for me is that it gives you a different tone. Now, would this be my primary guitar for metal? Probably not, probably never. However, if I were going to record, let's say my rhythm, my core rhythm to a song, I pan that to the left. Maybe I want to do a second rhythm and pan that to the right. I totally got that left-right thing wrong just now, but you get the picture. But it would give me a different tone. Or let's say I recorded my 2 rhythms, because you guys know I've told you this before, I record 2 rhythm tracks, hard pan each. If I were to record those 2 rhythms with the same guitar, right, I might have some other parts in the song that I want to sound a little different, and that's where the Tele would come in. Or maybe I do record one song on the album. Maybe I record the entire album with a Tele. I don't know. But it just gives you a different tone and sound that you're not used to hearing in metal music. Again, I know there are some metal musicians like John Five, and then probably several others that are known for playing Teles, but that's a very small percentage of metal guitarists that actually play a Tele. And again, I'm not saying you should play a Tele. I'm not saying, well, sell your Jackson and Schecters and Deans and ESPs, get rid of those metal guitars and buy a Tele. That's not what I'm saying. I just want to make this video because I plugged this into the EVH and I just had a good time playing it. So let's hear another tone real quick. So here's what happened, guys. Last week, I just had this itch to play a Tele. I don't know why. Well, I kind of know why, because again, I've been thinking about getting one mainly for my live gigs, which I'm not playing metal with my solo live gigs. But I text my friend Bryan. Bryan, he's the front man for the Southern Creek Band. They're a local cover band here. They play a lot of Southern rock and country in the Brandon area primarily. They play throughout Tampa some as well and other areas, but phenomenal band. I'll actually leave a link to them in the description of this YouTube channel. I'll link to their website there, because if you're in the area, definitely check them out. That's their website in the link, so you'll see their social media and all that on there as well. And Bryan's dude, it actually inspired me to get out there and get on stage again. You know, I had been stuck in the studio for the past, like, I don't know, 10, 11, 12 years, recording my own music, doing some projects for others as well from time to time, a lot of writing and doing some other things, but I wasn't playing live anywhere. Even though I had my own albums out there, I wasn't playing out. And of course, to play out, you kind of do have to revert to playing cover songs, because that's what people want to hear when they go to eat or have a drink or have a glass of wine. They want to hear songs that they're familiar with, which I've got a little catch to that I'll share with you real quick here. Seeing Bryan's band play, it's like, okay, I've got to get out there. I didn't want to play covers at first, but I'm like, you know what? I'm playing covers. I'm going to do it. I've got to get back on stage. So anyway, I did that. And then recently I've started doing some looping. I mainly play acoustic on stage. And I know most of you guys that follow me, you've heard this story probably the past 10 videos, because, but I'm putting more content out there, which I've got some more live content coming up for you. And I'm sharing more information about my live solo gigs, because it's something that you guys seem to be interested in. So I'm going to be sharing more of that. But I mainly play acoustic covers, right? I play a lot of 70s and 80s on acoustic, which is really cool. I play a lot of deep cuts too. It's the songs that people know, but they haven't heard in a long time. They're like, oh my God, I know that song. I can't believe that dude's playing that. And I'm not playing the same typical, like the Brown Eyed Girl and Buffett and all that stuff that every other cover band plays. I'm playing something completely different, which is really cool, which makes it way more fun for me. But I wanted to start integrating some electric. Now I have been playing, let me grab this real quick. I've been playing my Ibanez, which I'm going to be playing this for the next several gigs until, or if I get a Tele. But this is a guitar I typically play at my live solo gigs. And what I'll do is I'll loop a clean tone, and then I'll play some leads over it. So you guys know I just put out my clean tones in my Pod Go video. So I'll put a link to that if you didn't catch that. That was my last video I put out. But yeah, this is the Ibanez Prestige RG 1570. God forbid I break a string, because we have a Floyd, or this is not a Floyd. This is the actual Ibanez floating tremolo here. But yeah, God forbid I break a string on stage. Then, I mean, I'm playing acoustic, so I'm fine. Just switch back to that. Now I know I could get an Ibanez without a Floyd. Sure, I could do that. But again, the Tele seems to just cover so much ground when I'm playing those styles up there. Now, I know we're way off track from playing metal with the Tele here. Here's the thing. If and when, I think it's more of a matter of when than if at this point, because I'm really craving to get a Tele, and I don't think Bryan's going to give me this guitar. He's like, no, it's not even for sale, dude. So this thing is awesome. I love it, man. I love the color and everything. He's got this cool knobs and, cool bridge here. It's just cool. I do foresee me getting a Tele pretty soon here, and I probably will experiment recording with that. Probably not this next album, because I'm recording that as we speak, but albums to come, you'll probably hear a Tele integrated in there at some point on some of the songs at least, because again, my last point that I made is just having a different tone, having something that's just different, and not trying to sound like someone else. Us guitar players, and I've been guilty of this as well, not so much in the recent years, but I've been guilty before, where I gotta have that tone, oh, Master of Puppets, I gotta dial that exact tone. Why would you want someone else's tone? Get your own tone, dial your own tone in, go for your own sound. You guys know I encourage you to do that. I strongly encourage you to do that. Don't worry about chasing someone else's sound and tone. Just develop your own, and this is how you develop your own style and character as a guitar player. I really want to see you guys go after that. you know, instead of trying to chase down somebody else's tone. So anyway, I just want to leave you with that, guys. I hope you enjoyed the video here. I'm gonna play just a little bit more metal for you before we end this thing. So before I do that though, make sure, guys, you check the links in the description of this video. I've got my free metal guitar practice guide. I've also got 2 metal guitar courses. Those are all, the links are all in the description of this video. And of course, I've got the link to the Southern Creek Band's website there. If you're in the Brandon, Florida, Tampa area, you know, definitely give them a follow there. And of course, follow me on Facebook as well. I know a lot of us YouTubers, we prefer YouTube over Facebook, and I get that. I do as well, but I do post my schedule. I post my upcoming gigs on Facebook. So if you're in the local area, definitely follow me on there as well. I put it up on my website too at jasonstallworth.com. All those links are in the description of this video here. So guys, I appreciate you guys. Thank you for your support. Please like this and make sure you're subscribed. I'll see you on the next video. Here's some metal to go out with.